Hi, I'm Ali and a warm welcome to this ceramic repair studio. So in today's video, I thought I would share with you how to paint on ceramics. Now here I have a dog here and part of the tail was missing. So in my previous video, I did actually make a new tail with some Milliput. So now we're going to blend it in with some paint. So what you'll need are some paintbrushes. I do like sable for finishing off, but whatever's to hand. And I've also got a cocktail stick for mixing the paint, and I always collect spare bottle tops so we can mix the paint, something to mix the paint in, and also some ceramic glaze which I have decanted into. There's a little bit left here in the jar. Now what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start mixing some paint. Now what I'm going to use is I'm using Winsor & Newton Acrylic Professional range. You can use powder pigments, and to be honest, sometimes, and I probably will today, even mix and match them. Depends on the colour and what I have to hand. So first of all, looking at it, we're going to start with a bit of the brown here. So I've got some, as I say, we've got some, what are we here, yellow ochre and powder pigment, which is the raw umber. So I'm going to start with the raw umber. I also have a cup of water here as well, which I will just place on the side. Right, so let's put in just a tiny, just need a little amount, and we just place that in there. And then we're going to add just a little bit of water first. If you have a pipette, that's fine. And we just mix that up with the water here. Quite fiddly. I'm also going to add in a tiny little bit of the ceramic glaze. So just take a tiny piece here. This will actually help set the paint onto our item. So again, we just use the other side of the cocktail stick. And just apply just a little bit. Again, once you've actually opened up, just quickly close the lid because it does dry out very quickly. And it's a mixture of colours, this, so it's actually quite useful to actually just dab bits on. It's not perfect, we don't need to use a spray. It's looking quite light, so I'm just going to use it in certain areas. I'll hold it so you can see. I'm just going to start blending. Just dabbing in. It's not so uniform. There are bits of black in there as well. But this will just start as a good base. And then just go from underneath. You'll see there. Just dab that. Now if you can't get hold of the Rustin's ceramic glaze, there is another product which is widely available, I think on Amazon. I'll leave it in my description box down below, and that is Winsor & Newton, and they also do a ceramic glaze. But saying that, I personally haven't used it myself because I use Rustin's, but the Rustin's is quite expensive and it's quite hard to get hold of, particularly abroad. So I've just dabbed it. I'm not going to go too far in because it's lots of different tones and colours, and this will dry extremely quickly. So I'm just going to put him on his side. And then we just rinse our brush. Now we still have a bit of the colour in there, but I can still mix other colours in with it. So I'm going to add a tiny bit of lightness, some raw umber. Right, so we've added a little bit of the raw umber with the yellow ochre. So with the two tones, it's now gone sort of a lighter brown. And again, we're just going to do a little bit more dabbing. So we'll just take our tail here. I'm just going to add a little bit more colour tone. As I say, we don't want to block it because it's lots of different tones. And just blend in the old with the new as well. And just keep checking. When you're doing any form of painting, always make sure also that you have plenty of ventilation. And then I'm just going to, I think we're going to add a little bit of black there now. quite happy with that. So we'll just get a little bit, and here I have some Mars Black, and we just need a tiny dab. So fresh cocktail stick. I can still put it into the same one again because, you know, to be honest, we're going to be mixing. It's all different tones anyway. There we go. Into the same lid. And again, then we would just take a little bit more of our glaze. And lid on. Bit of water, and then again we just mix that through. We don't want it to be a complete black, and that's just mixed with the other two tones. And then again I'm just going to dab because it is different sort of colour tones here, so it's quite hard to tell because it's all, everything's quite dark. You can even, if you like, rub with fingers. Just so you get that mottled effect, so it just blends in nicely. Now this has got apart from a bit of fluff, it's a green felt base, but we're just going to just tone it to blend in with the top part. So obviously we haven't got a green base there. And a bit on the end of the tail. And then just keep checking through. That's blended through quite nicely. So now we'll go and we'll just leave this to dry for just a few minutes, and then we'll apply the final coat of the Rustin's glaze. Right, so the end of the tail has actually dried, the bits of paint we've done. It's looking good. It's all blending in nicely. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of the Rustin's glaze. Again, if you can find another ceramic glaze, because I know it's quite hard to get hold of. As I said before, Winsor and Newton. And I'm just using a flat brush here. And I'm just adding you only need a tiny bit. Just a little bit to help protect it, and it will stop the paint from coming off as well as adding just a hint of a glaze finish. So I'm just going to hold in place, and we're just gently, and you only need the tiniest bits, otherwise it can drip and you'd end up with drip marks. And we'll just gently apply on the end of the tail. Dry very quickly, probably literally 5 minutes, that will be dry. So there we are, how to paint ceramics. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you haven't subscribed, for more hints and tips, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Okay, bye.